Good morning, chat. How are you doing today? Did you sleep well? Are you excited that the weekend is close? How are you doing? What trouble are you getting into? Oh, good lord, what is that, Yoshi? What the fuck is that, Yoshi? I eated chicken nuggets? Okay, but what kind of chicken nuggets? This is important. This is important. What kind of chicken nuggets? And if just plain chicken nuggets, did you have sauce? I got tortilla soup for lunch. Ooh, tortilla soup sounds so good, dude. You know the bird kind? Oh, okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah. You smart ass. Anyway, I had barbecue sauce. Yes.
Making the mother of all omelets here, Jack. Can't spread over every egg.
Only 24 hours to go. 24 hours to what? 24 hours to what? Wait, what are you doing? I'm confused. Why am I looking down? 24 hours to go. It's the 18th. 24 hours till the 19th. Until tomorrow. 24 hours until tomorrow. What's the 19th? I'm confused. I don't understand. Last workday tomorrow? Oh, I got you. Okay. 24 hours until you're off for the weekend. Or are you retiring? Or Dane, are you that old? Are you retirement age? How early did the Dutch? Yes, did the Dutch retire? That voice like, wait a minute. What's your nationality again? Old Dane, graduating in the big 2025. It becomes a micro Pokemon streamer. Oh, right. Ordain's going to become a micro Pokemon streamer in the Discord. I have vacation. Ooh, Crimbus vacation. Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah. The day after the 18th and before the 20th? Oh, okay. I got it. I got it. Alpha Bravo, thank you for the follow. Welcome in. How are you doing? I'm not old for retirement. Elder ordained. No, I was just asking. I was like, I don't think anybody's. I know we've had viewers that are like retired veterans and stuff, or like on like disability and stuff. I do know we've had viewers like that. I was like, I don't think anybody else here is really old enough to be like retirement age. Truly a wonder. Truly a wonder. If he's Dutch, then why not or Dutch? If ordain, oh no. Crimus, I have a disability, but hi, Void. I'm on break in 7 hours into production. Ooh, production of what? I'm curious. Production of what? God, I wish I could retire. Retirement's a pipe dream. A random name, Jin, and it's stuck? Crazy. All right, chat. We have a couple things we could do today. And yes, the category is Warframe. We're probably going to play Warframe at some point. But I haven't edited a clip yet. I meant to do it last night, but by the time I got so tired to go to bed, I was like, wait, shit, I was supposed to edit a clip. And I did download one of them, but let me double check. Which one was it? Oh, it was the Snickers Schmeenish one. That's what it was. It was it was dropping the Snickers on the table one. Just sitting in categories, shaking my head. I do that all the time. Why are you surprised? I am quite young, Skelly. I will say I'm older than drinking age. Good. Ooh. Okay, but what kind of ice cream? Can you say the brand? Is it a local brand? Are you a big company brand? What flavor are you working on? If you're American, then you're young for drinking. If you're EU, try to stop. In the EU, people try and stop drinking at 21. Oh, yes, because the alcoholism sets in pre-18. It's fine. I have a tarantula hawk wasp. Yes, yes, I have. What is that relevant to ice cream? Tarantula wasp with ice cream. You better not be making ice cream with tarantula hawks in them. We start at 16, some even at 14. Yeah, by 21, though, you've already dealt with the alcoholism and you get to move on. Earlier you get it, the faster you get off of it, potentially. Potentially. Granted, I know an alcoholic who's been an alcoholic his entire goddamn life. I know him. It's my own father. Done with the alcoholism, moving on. What are those words? Oh my God. What are you doing? Are you speed running alcoholism? Alcoholism speed run? What's the any percent for alcoholism? Can a baby be born with a dependency on alcohol the same way like a baby can be born with a dependency on meth? Anybody know? It's okay, I'll be your dad. Clean your room. My room is clean. It may need to be vacuumed, but it is pretty clean. Aside from the boxes I have piled here that are for shipping when we move. Noah just scrungles the baby. Yeah, that makes sense. You got fetal alcohol syndrome. $6 a.m. to 3? What is that? That's a 9-hour shift? That's a good lanky shift. Start by chugging out the womb boom alcoholic before age 1. Live speedrun? Yeah, that's usually the case when you take things that essentially cause organ failure of any kind. Oh my goodness. A haircut? Are you shaving it all off? Is it time? Is it time to go bulge? Is it bulge time? Is it? Is it? Is it? Actually, you know what? When I'm sitting here yapping here with y'all guys, I could actually be working on editing that clip. Dare I? Dare I work on editing a clip on stream? Hi, Snake Man. How are you doing? What clip? The Snickers on my table clip from like 2 days ago. Skip that. I don't want to have to download. Snickers desk because I don't have a clip ready to go for tomorrow. And I need to have one ready. The clip you should totally be going and liking? Yeah. I mean, if you want to check out any of the pages where I post clips, we have the website. We have the website. But let me do this. Let me do this. Not that. Duplicate. Actually, I don't need to duplicate this one because. Oh, actually, maybe I do. Just so that I have like a background. Yeah, that's what we'll do. And then I need things and stuff. There we go. Okay. I started playing Warframe. Nice, nice. Are you new to Warframe or you just started playing it? Real voice? Oh, nice voice. Thank you. Nice noise. Things and stuff. New carnival slogan. Hey, listen, I say things and stuff all the time. Thing is, I could pull this up and show you, but I'd be a little embarrassed if y'all watching me do this because I'm very slow and I have to think shit over constantly. Do y'all want to see me do this while we wait? And we could just yap away. Warframe took a hot minute to install last night, so I had to start fresh tonight. Start fresh? Oh, like you had to restart the download? Doesn't it usually save like the download that you finished and then you just do the rest? Here, I can do that. We can do that for a little bit while we have like this moment of, I'm really enjoying the city pop. I'm not gonna lie. You think I ain't watching clip 50 times before making them? No. I'm new to the game. I said fresh. Okay, fresh is a new player. That's what I was asking. That's what I was asking. I need screen. That's what I need. That's what I need. And then we'll do this. Okay. I forgot where I was. I forgot what I was doing. Oh, we should probably watch this to see what I need to trim out. Part of you pulling out your Snickers? Oh, yes, my Snickers. Right on the table. Okay. Skeleton approved by me. Skeleton. Okay, we'll probably save that in the roster for April Fool's Day. Oh, okay, yeah, that's we were talking other stuff in the middle of this. Another one for April Fool's Day. Because shit was delayed at the time. Just plop that shit on the desk without any warning. Just okay. All right, who's so here? Also, I'm a baby editor. Please don't make fun of me because I will cry. Just plop that shit on the desk without any warning. Just defend yourself, jump scare. All right, who's taking the first bite? You're not you when you're hungry. I wonder if I can find a green screen for me. You fucking dork. Oh, I'd have to check who did that message. Who was the one who said me? Put it in my mouth. Oh my god. Christ. All right, hold on. Let me go back to the original clip because there's a couple things I'm gonna need to do, which is Twitch, creator, clips. I think it was the 1 minute one. Oh, that did not actually. Okay, it was Grins. It was Grins that said it. It was, yeah, it was you. It was you. Hold on a second. So another thing I'm going to use, just in case anybody doesn't know what this is, because I only found out about it recently. Let's put this way real quick. There's a website called Twitch Message Creator. It's kind of useful. So I could do this. I can make a fake Grins. But you have a tag that they don't have. That's Fright Fest 2025. So unfortunately, I don't think I can do that. Yeah, I'd have to add the image link for it. One, two, three. Let's put like 12 E's. Then we save it. And it gives me PNG. Do you like playing Warframe? I love playing Warframe. We just came back to it recently. So we'll be getting into it in just a minute. I'm not going to do a whole lot of editing for this. Oh, right. There was another one too, wasn't there? There was another message. Okay, that was Beef. Oh my god, and it was with, oh, what the hell? Beef, do me a favor. Drop, whose is it? Drop the Omega Lol emotes. I'm pretty sure, yeah, Beef's here. Beef, I need you to give me Anna's Omega Lol emote. Boof. His name's not Boof, it's Beef. Can you give me, wait, do I have Anna's? Oh, I do, I have it. That's even easier. So let's see, let me see if this even works. Okay, no, it doesn't. It does not generate emotes, unfortunately. Beef underscore, oh, that's all caps. Beef underscore skeletons. I misspelled skeletons. Forgotten E. You can download the Twitch emotes. Oh, I know that. I know there's the Twitch emotes website. But this is a little bit easier because I'm keeping it simple. See you later, Flan. Thank you for hanging out. You're this, like, yeah, like seafoam green. Hell yeah. Okay. And then let me do this real quick. So we have those. I need, oh shit, wait, I need a Snickers. I need a Snickers bar. PNG. Oh no, I want one that's opened. Ooh. Open Snickers bar? Hmm. Okay. Let me see here. I'm not finding anything that's like, maybe this one? Oh, no, that's not good quality. All nuts and caramel, Snickers Extreme, Christ. Do we share the same color? Yeah, y'all have the same color. I'm pretty sure you can't get a custom color. Unless you have Twitch Turbo. Oh, that's an actual bar. Fuck you, Shutterstock, and all your fake PNGs. Oh, what the fuck? Where did those come from? Should we fight for who changes or do we both keep it? I mean, that's up to you two. I'm not making that decision. I mean, that's clip art. God fucking damn it, dude. Why is it so hard to find an actual PNG? Of Snickers. I'm trying to find one and like almost every single one of them is fake. Thing is though, is I also need to find one that's like a good angle. Okay, hold on. Maybe this one, if I go here, or is this just a fake PNG? It has like the fake PNG thing in the background, but I don't know. Of course, you want me to make an account if I want to download the fucking PNG. Eat my fucking ass. Wait, you got approved for a kidney transplant? That's crazy, dude. Hell yeah. Try to find Gara part for frame. Ooh. We just did the mission, or did I do it the other night before? I think I did that mission the night before. So whenever you like look up PNGs here, I can actually show you. It's like this shit. When it has the like, what's usually the image for not having a background. Shit like this. It usually means if I try to say like right click and like save image, it's probably not going to be an actual, here, we can check it. Yeah. There you go. That's what it looks like. It's the worst. It's the fucking worst. You gonna move it in DaVinci? I know, but it's I'm not super familiar with how to do it. Or getting it to work properly. And I was trying to do this really fast. I don't think we're gonna be able to finish this because I'm gonna have to do a little like keyframe animation work. The thing is, I'm also looking for, so here, let's go back to DaVinci. I'm trying to find something where I could basically, how to word this? Basically make it so that I could make the Snickers look like it comes up from under the desk. So I want it to go in a certain direction or at least be rotatable. But this is taking longer I was like, how hard could it be to find a major brand Snickers PNG? Apparently, really fucking hard. Here, fuck it. We'll use this one. That's fine. That's fine. Use the crop and timestamps. Correct. Correct. All right, real quick. Let's do... How do I want to do this first? Part of you pulling out your Snickers? Oh yes, my Snickers. Right on the table. Just plop that shit on the desk without any warning, just... Okay. Let me get the Snickers. So... Damn backseat editing. Listen, Grins does more editing than I do, and I've only recently come back to doing editing. And I am really stupid, so... Usually it takes me a while to do these too, so... Okay, so this is... Let's do this. Let's go ahead and put in... Right there. Go here. Shrink you ever so slightly. I need the shadow again. Because I like to make it look good-ish. That should be fine on TikTok, I think. And then we need... The way I sometimes do this, unfortunately, though, is because if I go to, say, like video transitions, most of these are fucking useless. Like, I had to download separate ones to make them work, or most of the time I just keyframe shit. Like, let's say right now, because I do want Beef's message to like come straight up. So I would want like pan. I would want like pan up. And I put pan up in here. You fucking... Too far. It does that shit. Why? Why does it do that? I hate it. I hate it so much. So most of the time what I end up doing is I just end up keyframing shit. Unfortunately, actually, you know what I could do? I could just extend it a little more so that it eases in a little bit easier. Perchance slide up? No, because it's not even like... That one actually worked it easier. I'm pissed. Oh my God. I'm pissed. Never mind. Because before it used to do all this shit where it would have like chromatic aberration. So if I click here and I go to Fusion page, there's so many of these things, see, that have these. Oh, it actually works better. I like that. Okay. Yeah. But like, there's like these other ones that are like cross dissolve and stuff, or these other transition are usually what I use. I don't use the stuff that are basically like PowerPoint shit because they're really bad. But I don't know. Okay, hold on. We're gonna have to time it better. Put it in my mouth. You know what we can do here? We can actually take this. Not that one. I want effects. No? Resolve? Oh. There it is. Master Shake. I didn't actually add it. There we go. Position, that's going to fuck it up. That's totally fine. And then we bring these really far down. And it gives us this like extra little bit of motion. Put it in my mouth. Okay, that's still way too high. Oh my God. That's still way too high. Wobble like way down. I just want like that little bit of easy shimmy. Put it in my mouth. Oh my God. Okay, it hovered a little bit there. That's fine. That's fine. That works for me. And then now we need to do the same thing for grip. Okay. Whoop, whoop. To about here. And then we'll just do another slide up, methinks. So this one we can actually shrink a little bit. I think I'm gonna do the same thing with, that's not what you're supposed to do. Of course, we need to add in the other effects that we had. Which this is actually in Resolve that I want the drop shadow in. No. Actually, I think that was centered. That's fine. That's fine on 0. Between this and camera shake, do you want to see what regular camera shake looks like? I can show you. So this is the, is it this one? No, it's this one. That's fusion transitions, fusion effect. Okay, we'll use this one. Me! You fucking okay, that one's different. I think it's the transition is the one that I'm thinking of. That are always broken. So get rid of that. What's the best way to show this? Because it's transition, so it wants to go at the end. That's fine. So like I wanted to make something that looked like a camera like coming in. Go here, go here. Me! It has this weird like chromatic aberration and shit. And like discoloration. So if I make it longer. It does this. Dark. The only way I've been able to describe it is like as if you're wearing 2000s 3D glasses. That's what it looked like to me. We have the shadow. We need the other camera shake. Oh, not here. Here. Again, I don't think that took. Why are you not? Why are you not applying? Thank you. All right, Grants, let's see how much we're shaking you. You fucking dork. Oh. Okay, we need to increase the size of that. Or we need to shrink the size of this. Me! You Me! Okay, that's my inhale, which kind of sucks. Grizz is secretly an editor savant. Grizz is an editor savant. There's 2 camera shakes? Oh yeah, this is the fusion one. This is the fusion transition. And then there's this one, which is a film emulation. But I have a different one called the master shake that I like a little bit more. Is Grins hating on me? Yeah, I have a separate that's like pre-downloaded, not pre-downloaded, one that I got myself. I have a few that are like that, so let me see. If I go, like I have a GIF looper one, I have master shake, I have a stabilized thing, turbulent displace, which the turbulent displace actually came with like a pack. And like, I have like social media things that I don't use because I think they're annoying. But if I go to like other places, pretty sure I have some custom effects, maybe not. Thought I did. A bunch of generators and stuff. There's the gift looper again. You know what you're doing? Huh? Really, really well, I think. Yeah, Grins is a good editor. I'm baby back bitch. But I also need to adjust this again. Me! Wait, what was that? Me! You fucking don't. Here, if we do this instead, put it there. And we're going to extend this until the transition point is there. Me! You fucking... Me! Why does that feel... Me! You fucking dork. Should I add a slide down to the end of these? Should I add a slide down to the end of these? Let's also reduce this one. Accept the praise, Grins. You deserve it. Nuh-uh. Yeah, I mean, you've edited a bunch of stuff for Hora. And I'm the one who posts those. So, I mean, I've seen some of the stuff that you've made for Hora. What else did we need? Am I... Oh, I am slid over because I'm zoomed in too much. I'm zoomed out too far. This is a weird Warframe, isn't it? Hi, Slime. How are you doing? Part of you pulling out your Snickers? Oh, yes, my Snickers. Right on the table. Just okay, so what we can do here is what I'm thinking. Of course, we're going to need our Snickers. So we have our Snickers. But what if we did... Are you pulling out your Snickers? Oh, wait, who's the one who said Snickers? Do I need to get another chat thing for that? That's fine. I'll laze out on that one. Here, so what I'm thinking... Part of you pulling out your Snickers? Oh, yes, my Snickers. Oh, yes, my Snickers. Right. My Snickers. Okay. Right. So my Snickers is right there. My Snickers. Right on the table. Oh, yes, my Snickers. Right on the table. Then what we do is we're going to take this. I'm actually going to cut it because we're going to use another piece of this. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong thing. You. And also, of course, what we're going to do is we're going to add our shadow again. Because I like shadows, okay? So let me think. So... Oh, yes, my Snickers. Right on. So from here, real quick, we're going to take this. And we're going to video. Time to keyframe! Oh my god, kill me. Actually, I do have easy zoom. Where is it? Or is it? It's animate, isn't it? I don't think it's auto animate. I'm pretty sure it's not. Tin's supine bicycles? What the fuck is that? Shut up and take my money. I know my memes. I think if I'm gonna mess with some of this other new stuff, I should probably do it in my own time. Do y'all want to just go play Warframe? Because I can stop right here and just finish the rest of this tonight, where I have to play with like the minute details. It's up to chat, though. I mean, we're sitting in the Warframe category. It's not like we're doing what the Mana Chord or whatever it is, the Octavia fucking thing. We're in a different program. Mean Crazy Frog? I don't think so. But here, let's see real quick. Snickers. So what I'm thinking of having it do is... Goodness, sorry, I just burped right in your ear. That snuck up on me. So here, zoom time. Oh, we're also gonna need position. But real quick, let's do. Actually, no, this is fine. This is fine. So we're gonna take this. We're gonna zoom basically right in on our face. And then let me move the Snickers. Whoop, dude, that was zoom. I grabbed the wrong thing. And then rotation. We'll do that. I like that angle. Have you seen the fan account vids? I have not. I have not come across them yet. Snickers to mouth action. Listen, I have a plan for this. I have a plan for this. Thing is, though, is I'm afraid I'm going to be zooming in too fast, but we'll see what happens. Oh, right, the dynamic zoom. Wait, I forgot the dynamic.
There's our man. There's our man. There's our boy.
Shit. First, wait, what was that? That's our boy. Oh yes, my Snickers. Right on the table. Okay. So then here, I think we're just going to give it another slide. Or... Nah, we'll just slide. We'll just slide. But I want it to be like really fast. Oh yes, my Snickers. Right. Should I make it cut instead? I don't think I like the zoom on my face. It's type of crunches. Okay, you said it was supine bicycles. Let me see real quick. Supine bicycles. Okay, yeah, I know what these are. I know what bicycles are. It's just I've never heard of them called supine. Okay, yeah, I've done these before. If I asked for help editing, would you care to teach me some? Listen, I've watched a few videos here and there on occasion. I am fucking stupid, so yeah, you should ask friends. Yeah, bicycles. So think of like crunches, except you're bringing one leg towards your elbow and you're turning. That was the dumbest fucking way I could think to describe that. Yes. Turn all those off. Okay. Oh, the thing is too is I'm not exactly sure how to make it so that these are like hard lines. That's fine. I'm fine with that. So then let's do. Again, I'm not entirely sure how to use the ease in. But isn't that just going to make it right on the table? Yeah, okay. That's not going to do at all what I think it is. That's supposed to be ease in. Why is it easing out? Yeah, that's dynamic zoom, I think, is one thing that it does for the entire scene. I'm pretty sure. Out the window. It was bad, to be fair, to you. Hi, Dragon. How are you doing? Do them in high school football a lot when we would work out. I used to do them a lot, too. They're easy workouts for your core to do at home. I will do them in just a minute. Maybe during the ad break. Oh my God, we're already close to the ad break. I've wasted a whole hour sitting on, working on a shitty edit. Thing is, I'm not sure how to do this. Should I just keyframe it again and let it be shitty? I think that's what I'm going to do. I think I'm just going to keyframe it again and let it be shitty. Let's actually put the zoom here at the beginning of the Snickers transformation or slide in. So then Hold on. I'm gonna go to the very top, slide you over. Then, oh yes, my Snickers, right on the table. Okay, I want the Snickers to be bigger. And I want it to be higher. And we're gonna make it move. Because I'm a basic bitch, and you can tell that I have like favorite things to make it look like certain things. Actually, let's do angle. Yes, my Snickers, right on the table. Yes, my Snickers, right. Yes, my Snickers, right on the table. Yes, my Snickers. And then the second it jumps to here, what I'm gonna do is I'm thinking I'm gonna have it snap to the desk. And then I'm not clicked on the right thing. Work is still work. Any learning experience is good for me. It's true. I mean, I learned something from every video that I make, especially with this one, because I don't think I've done anything with props in a long time. So let me think here. How do we want to do this? Right on the table. Right on the table. Okay. So I think from here, in like basically a single frame, I'm gonna have it jump down to like, now we'll do a couple frames. And then I'm gonna have it jump down to the desk about there. On the table. Where was my thud? Right on the table. Oh. Okay, I think my thud was later. Right on the table. So here? On the table. Sirs. Right on the table. So from here, I'm thinking, let's do... This one also doesn't have the shadow that I wanted it to have. That's fine. We'll leave that one default. And then a little bit smaller. And then what I'm thinking is we do this. I'm going to make it here. And then, actually, hold on. We can do this different ways. Let's do it from the end. Turn you off. What I want is you to be here. At this point, you are going to be on the table. I'm going to need position, I'm going to need zoom, and I'm going to need rotation. You're going to be flat. You're going to be on the table. Let's actually make that shadow darker. And so we have those. And then what I'm going to do is go back here. Make all these rotations a thing. And then the place I want it to be to start at. Also, if anybody remembers this, who else uses DaVinci Resolve? There used to be a way where you could get like the path that it was in. And I think they changed it in one of the updates and now I can't find it. I don't know how to make like keyframe paths visible, but that's fine. So then what I'm going to want it to do next, basically this is the starting point. We're doing starting and ends, and I'll fix everything in the middle afterwards. So we're going to go up to about here. Give me a rotation from, we'll go here. And then you're going to go off the screen, motherfucker. On the table. And then see, it goes in a diagonal right now. My plan is to make it essentially into like a flop. So what I need to do is in like some middle sections here. Although I wish I could make, There we go. Okay, 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 okay. No, come on. It was the transformation tool. I'm glad I noticed that. But I used to be able to grab these points. Didn't I? No, I can't. It just wants to move the whole thing. Hi, Bucky. I wanted to curve it, but I can't get it to curve. Here, let's do it this way. Let's go to here. And so then what we're going to do here, change position. And so we're going to make this go here, here. Slide it to this point. Honestly, I don't think we actually need to change the Y value. We just need to change. And then we're doing this the annoying way. We're doing this the exceptionally annoying way. I have that easy animate thing, but I've never used it, and I'm not really in the mood to test it. So we're doing this in the world's most tedious fashion. Yes, because I didn't get the work done yesterday, like I was supposed to. Thing is, though, is I think I'm also fucking this up ever so slightly more. But at this point, genuinely, who cares? As long as it gets done. Thing is, though, is I'm going through the motions way too fast. Luckily, what I can do is I can change it afterwards once I've set these other keyframe positions. It'd be a little bit easier to drag them. I'm sure there's a function somewhere that lets me just make a whole bunch of keyframes, like, automatically. But again, I don't know my way around DaVinci well enough. And it's very obvious that I have done this out of time. I should have squeezed these all in a lot more. What I should have done, I think, would have been easier is, let's go all the way back. We're going to go all the way back. Is we will oversimplify sections. Let's go to here. Gonna put one position there. Here. Another position. About here. Oh, that was not. Oh, it's because it's snapping there. That's fine. What I'm actually going to do, though, is we're going to double these. Because then what we can do is drag each of these to get, hold on, larger arc, larger arc. Methinks. Methinks. Again, it's the hardest part is getting the gentle arc. Okay. Right on the table. Right on the table. Okay, hold on. The animation was supposed to end here. Right on the table. Okay, it slows down. Why does it slow down? on the table. Table. Just pop that. I want it to be faster. I want it to be faster. But what's the easiest way without having to keyframe it again? Can I do this? Change clip duration. No, that would snip it. Where was the speed? Change. Okay, maybe it won't actually be here because, yeah, there's clip speed. This is only counting as an image. So I can't do that here. What if you just make it push-ups, please? Oh my God. Okay, hold on. We're going to do those 2 workouts. Hi, Sai. Go away. Anyway, I need to do 2 workouts. So I need to do the bicycles and I need to do the push-ups. Let's do the push-ups first. Start later? I mean, yeah. Could do that. If we just lose this. Go here, maybe lose this one too. Oh, wait. And here we take this one off the screen. Right on the table. Just pop that shit on the desk without any warning, just... Oh, the table. Does it need to be bigger? Okay. All right, let me do these push-ups and stuff. I have my knees on the ground and I haven't even started. Okay, let's do this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, now we got to do the bicycles. Let's do this. Bigger? Bigger? Not that kind of bigger, Ganon, you goofball. All right, hold on. Bicycles. Ooh, I don't know if this is going to work with my headset. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right. Don't break yourself. Oh, it's fine. I'd be less about breaking myself and more breaking my headphones. All right. What was I doing? Snickers right on the table. You know what's worse? I think I kind of wanted to hit the table like at this point. Shit. Okay. Let's do this instead. We're going to do this. We're going to get rid of these. To get rid of all the keyframes afterwards. And we're going to redo a section of this. So here is where I want it to end. So we're going to need both of these at least. On the table. Slide you over a little bit more. I think a little bit more down. And then actually from here. Okay. Right on the table. Oh, why did it do that? Oh, the table. Okay, we're gonna get rid of you. And then halfway, why is it so snippy? Here, do this. That's the closest I think I'm gonna get to Move this, then we're gonna move you there. More towards the middle. Right on the table. Ah! Just pop that shit on the desk without any warning, just... Okay, fuck it. We're gonna leave it. We're gonna leave it bad. She's taking her Snickers out. Oh, wait, it's about to get worse. It's about to get worse, because I'm gonna need something else real quick. I'm gonna need another PNG. But, oh, I remember where it is. Backgrounds. Because I'm gonna do this in like a very dumb, sort of easier way. I need the desk. There we go. So we're gonna go first and foremost. Let's do, I'm lazy with these, so recently I've just been adding a 14 frame dissolve because I have no idea what else to put here. Just pop that shit on the desk without any warning, just... Okay, so that's my hand slam. We're gonna need two things. We're gonna need the desk, and then we're gonna need a Snickers again. I put these backwards. Okay. So we're gonna need to resize this first of all. Oh, it moves slightly. So smoke and mirrors time, baby. Desk without any warning, just... Damn, that was damn near perfect. Okay, but I think the way I'm gonna do this, just to make it a little bit easier on myself, is we're gonna cut here and here. And then after we do this, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make it a compound scene. Ding dong, ad break. Oh man. Okay. Oh, that doesn't work here. That does not work on this page. That's not it. What am I clicking? Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Okay, load, damn you, load. Load, I said. We'll make it to Warframe. We'll make it to Warframe. I promise. I'm not going to be doing much more to this. Plus, captions and stuff are relatively easy. Because I cheat. And I'm lazy. All right. I'm going to let that keep going, and I'm going to be working on this over here. So what I need is... Okay. Actually, you know what? Yeah, this should be fine. This should be fine. With the idea that I have for this. All I needed to do is... Whoop! I zoomed something I didn't mean to zoom. And then thinking. Okay. Position here. That's fine. Wording, just desk without any wording, just plop that shit on the desk without any wording, just okay. I'm actually gonna yeah, that's fine. I'm just gonna leave it snipped as it is and live with my mistakes. All right, put you away. Back to this. Don't worry, I have a plan. Yes, you can see the Snickers underneath the desk. That's fine. We passed barely. We're gonna go into Mars. Ooh. Okay, so I'm gonna leave that there. Wording just. Wording just. Yeah, I think here. This. And then all I wanted to do is quite literally just go here. Maybe a little, change the rotation a little bit on this whole thing. There we go. And then what I'll do here is wording just and then what we're gonna do is I'm gonna try and like frame what is basically just gonna be a flick. Actually, hold on. Go back a little bit further. So here, about 2 frames. Have it angle back a little bit. Go about, say, 3 frames. Angle back in at the peak of the thud. And then we'll go 3 more frames. And have it angle back slightly to the original. On the desk without any wording, just... All right, who's taking the first? That worked too perfect. Okay, I'm proud with that one. I'm proud with the way that little flick works. I was like, okay, maybe this will just work. Okay, so taking the first bite. You're not. I think though I'm gonna add the very slow like move. Oh no, it's not camera, it's shake. But what we're gonna do is again we're gonna do angle, but we're gonna reduce it by like a fucking lot. And see what that looks like. That's without any wording, just fucking cinema, dude. Fucking cinema. Okay, so what I'm gonna do now is we're gonna take all 3 of these and we're gonna turn them into a compound clip. So they're all gonna become one, which means now this is as it's gonna stay. But what we can do to make it easier and the way that I want it is now we can zoom the whole thing. I can make it go, you know what, let's do, I'm gonna need it from like back here. And then here it's gonna already have to be zoomed in. Oh shit, and the position. Nope. Okay, that's actually how it has to stay. So let's see what that looks like. That's without any wording, just... Okay, that does no zoom with that many pixels, so... Here, I forgot, what did I add in? Oh, it's the this. Get rid of this. Okay, no, it still wants to get rid of it. Don't forget the crop. Step inside. Oh, that's without any warning. Just all right. Who's taking the first bite? And then what I'm thinking is we'll do. Hi, Hectic. How are you doing? How was your stream? Also, Shakeem Game, thank you for the follow. Welcome in. Sorry, we're going to be getting to Warframe. I swear it's already been over an hour. We've just been trying to edit this clip. And I'm basically trying to keep myself responsible with doing my like editing. And I want to at least have a clip for tomorrow because I didn't have one for today. So what we'll do here is it is Hectic. Hectic, did you see Anna doing the World of Darkness? The World of Darkness, what was it? Tier list. That's it. That's the word. Added video editing software to Warframe. Hey, they have the music editing software. It's fine. It's fine. And then, all right, who's taking the first bite? So then here, I'm thinking, let's do another zoom, maybe? But I am going to add like a rotation angle. So then it's fine here, but then when it gets here, I want it to a good zoom. About here's fine. The Snickers at the bottom, I think I'm fine with that. We'll do a little bit of that. Little bit of that. All right, who's taking the first bite? You're not you when you're hungry. Oh, I snipped right through audio and I didn't even realize it. Shit. Shit. You're not you when you're hungry. Fuck. Snickers tag at this point, don't we? Oh, we're gonna add the Snickers tag. Don't worry about it. I'll add like snack and stuff to it. Do I just cut out "you're not you when you're hungry"? I think that's the easiest way to fix this. Is just to cut out this section. We're probably gonna have to trim some stuff from this backside anyway, so that's totally works out. That was my own fault for not noticing it, even though it's, yeah, it feels like it's the only, oh shit, hold on, go back. Oh. Shift delete. All right, let's zoom out again. Oh, too far. Me. Okay, we'll pause that. And we're gonna cut. Nya. Nya. All right, who's taking the first bite? Me! Wait, it did the thing. It did the thing that I knew it usually does. That's why I don't use slide. Did y'all see it? Me! It starts at the top of the scene for some reason. Bite. Me! It starts way up. Oh, y'all can't see my mouse. Here, let me swap to. Way up here. Way up here for some reason. I was like, there's a reason I don't use the slide things. You fucking dork. All right. Get that shit out of here. And then what we're just going to do is, let's do a little bit of zoom in here. Yeah, I was like, I didn't notice it earlier because I think we were actually zoomed in a little bit further back. And then what we just do here is this position. Oh, I couldn't see the bottom, so I had to do the Hello? I can't get it off screen? You're joking. Why? I have to drag it? I have to drag it. Okay, fine. Whatever. And then here's where we will bring it up. What the fuck was that? Oh, it's not even saying it's the right fucking distance. It just flicks in. Dork. It just flicks in. Motherfucker, dude. It maxes out over here at negative 7680. And that was the maximum I could lower it to. I know, Beef. That's why I'm trying to finish this as fast as possible. I do this stuff all the time where I just like originate it off screen and have it slide in. I don't know why it's limited here. Genuinely no idea. I could do though. Get rid of this. Get rid of this. So it's right there. Actually, raise it up a little bit more. Maybe there's a timestamp. It's not, because over here, it's kind of hard to see. These are the keyframe buttons. If there was other keyframes and stuff in there, they'd have tiny arrows next to them. No, it wouldn't limit the area that it's covering. Oh wait, did you move the chat thing around in time? No? Oh, I did adjust it a little bit. Could it have something to do with the effects that are on it? No? I don't think so. That doesn't make any sense. No, there's no edits to this. Right now, it's basically just a PNG with effects slapped on it. But I'm just trying to think of alternatives, because I could easily just change what both of these, we're going to go ahead and delete that, what both of these do when they come in. But for one reason or another, see if I take it and I drag it down here. Is it getting smaller? The range I can drag it is legitimately getting smaller over time. It's changing. But then maxes out at 7680. It shouldn't do that. I literally can't lower it anymore. Why? Oh my God. When you move the timing of the clip? I mean, that still doesn't make any sense. This is its own separate PNG on the screen right now. Here, you know what? Oh no, can't do it that way. Let's do... Me. Okay, that was so slow for some reason. Me. You fucking... I hate it. I hate it. I hate it so much. I have an idea. Oh, there's two. I accidentally added two. Me! You fucking dork. Me! Okay, then we're gonna reduce this down to, let's do 2.5 or 0.25. Ooh! Me! Okay, that's easier. That's easier. We'll use the auto animate. And then make sure we change it to slide up. But okay, it doesn't like it when it's still trying to render it. Put it in my mouth! Oh, oh my god. Okay. Oh my god. We'll leave that. We'll leave that. That's fine. Now for the stuff that I'm just going to laze out on. So, fun fact. Tools. Create subtitles from audio. Language. English, pretty please. I'm actually going to reduce this down to 12. I'll leave it as subtitle default because I'm going to edit it myself. And now we play the waiting game. And now we have captions. And we are going to fuck with them because they're almost always broken. But first things first, formatting. Circutia. Stroke. Adjusted to about there. Size increase. Position we're going to have to put somewhere else. Thinking. So right now we're adjusting literally every single caption that's going to be in here. Also, there's the drop shadow function. Can't quite see it. Okay, that's fine. You underestimate potassium? What are y'all on about? And then... oh, where do I want to put this? Put it here? Just center stage? Then here, what I'm going to do is we're going to highlight both of these. Captions. Oh, it's not going to let me. Why aren't you going to let me? You've let me do this before. That's fine. That's fine. Actually, no, it will let me do it. Okay. So what I can do with both of these, because they're about to overlap with the Snickers bar that comes in, is we go to position. We just bring them down here. That's fine. I'm fine with that. And so now, everything else is still in the same, like, position. Okay, that's actually fine. Without any warning. Here, let's watch it. Just plop that shit on the desk without any warning, just... All right, who's taking the first bite? Okay, we're gonna change those. There's Coco. Yeah, and I can't rotate them because we're technically using captions here. All right, who's taking the first bite? Me! Ooh, ooh, what the hell was that? That's fine, though. We can actually delete that one. Wait, is that Grins? Wait, that was Grins' whole fucking thing. Me! Wait, is that? Me! What the fuck is that? I don't... me! Why does it do that? Fucking dork. Okay. Sai! Where's your fucking check mark? You now rival Slenderman? What? I honestly probably could cut this section out too. Yeah. We're gonna do that. Put it in my mouth! Oh my god. Okay. And you know what I'm gonna say to this? Oh god. That's good enough. Who fucking cares? Who fucking cares? That's enough. Now we can stop lollygagging. Let me really quickly make sure I save this. Snickers. I just realized that we did not have a Snickers dick vein joke squeezed in there somewhere. Burned into video, pretty please. Okay. All right, chat. Are you actually ready to play Warframe? I'm sorry that took a whole fucking hour and a half. God damn it. Now time for the frames of wars? Yes, it is. Even though we've been sitting in the category for the past hour. Lied to chat again? No. Wow, that took a long time to render. And yes, I am in fact just ignoring the flickering E that comes up from Grin's thing because it's not worth trying to fix if it's just corruption. So, real quick, we're going to swing right on over to the gaming screen. And then I'm going to open the game because I haven't opened it yet because I was afraid to have it open if we were going to do the editing thing first. Load, damn you. All right. You didn't see me come in? You're so small, Impy. How am I supposed to see you? All right. It should already be set to Warframe capture because that was the last thing I captured. Oh, okay. It doesn't want to try and sign into other things. Hold your horses. Hold your horses.
Ordis has received messages for...
Thank you, Ordis. Oh, what the fuck? Oh yeah, I did the Umber quest line yesterday off stream. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. Still kicking interns? Ordain's always kicking interns. Oh, also yes, I added the Christmas decorations. All right, who's gonna kiss me under the mistletoe? All right. We need to do the check stuff. So Foundry. Claim keys done. Prime chassis done. Systems are done. Okay, hold on. How much? What does that give us for? That was gyre. That was 2 pieces of gyre. What are we missing? Thinner optics. Okay. Which we need neural sensors for. So we'll keep an eye out for that. Thing is, though, is I also only have 20K. All right, kids. I did some missions up until the point where we got to where the mission page actually looked like, well, this, the prelude of war. So I figured the flesh mistletoe at the carnival. Don't stare at the flesh mistletoe too long. Also, Space Mom is gone. Space Mom has abandoned us. I don't know why she just left. Christmas by the ship, but didn't Christmas the emotes? Oh, I forgot to Christmas. Wait. Oh, that's because I wasn't sure what emotes to get rid of for the season. Would you like me to get the Christmas emotes? Which ones do we want to lose? We'd have to get rid of like the eyes. We'll get rid of the eye and mouth one. We'll get rid of the eye and mouth one. Where is it? And then we'll go get equipment point and Xmas cheer. All right. The Quimus emotes are live now. That doesn't seem good. My eyes! There we go. I saw the music going. I was enjoying the jam. Oh, hey, welcome to hell. Okay. I don't like that laugh. Whoop!
Hey, kiddo.
Hi, that was me. Oh, those are all shadows of the lotus. Hi. Wait, no, is that me wearing the lotus's hat? That looks like... It is. It's my operator wearing the lotus's hat. Why can I not use them? Try refreshing your page. That may be the issue. Another one. Obscene range with increased range Nakana. And it leveled up. Just spam melee. Just spam the melee. Hello. Woo. Oh, there it goes. Okay. I didn't even see it. That's a stance. Wait, wasn't this the way that I escaped last? Oh, okay, there's another one. Again, though, I think this is also a vision. I think is the idea, because we like touch the helmet. And this is apparently an important location that we haven't figured out. Also, we did actually learn that Warframes used to be people. Our operator now knows that. They did not think that before. Oh, we're going back in the hole. So finishing the Chains of Harrow mission, we fell down here. Although this was not what was down here.
But of course you are. Imprisoned, just as she was.
So we had a vision at one point where we came here and the Lotus was basically up there. And then a blue man showed up and took her. For some reason. We don't know why yet. It's made of people. Hey, buddy. That helmet's not... Oh my god, your face just came through the helmet. Okay. Okay. Oh yeah, we'll definitely see the blue man again. We already stabbed him once. A portal?
My beauty, my grace, my humanity.
Ooh. There's supposed to be another sling spot? I don't see one. There it is. Ooh. Good fucking lord!
Hello?
same person? That doesn't... I don't think that's the same blue man.
Only suffering under her eye.
Oh, it's hurting me.
Nothing. So, what is this? I'm just confused. But she gave me the gift of life. Why would I betray her?
You're not Ballas.
Oh, is there someone?
I can't tell. Is he building something?
Shadow. Only shadow. Fool.
Oh, it is Ballas. What the fuck happened to him? We just stabbed him like 2 days ago.
He stole my death. My perfect death. Such is
What?
her power over me. Over the devil. Oh?
Oh, by the way, I think we're the devil.
Such is her power over me.
They call us the devil very frequently.
Such is her power over me. Over the devil. We saw what we wanted.
Okay, he is
Those
building
devils
something.
and I love her. A mother.
Space Bomb!
But now I know. She is neither. Okay. She is neither. She's a hawk calling with Sparrow's song. A viper blending into
What
wood.
is that?
And her venom.
Yeah, his leg is all dangly. Oh, his old leg is all dangling.
Your heart.
Thing is, though, is I have no idea what he's building.
Those devils.
Oh, a weapon?
What has their great awakening accomplished with the
A sword?
destruction of potential allies? Don't they see?
If you're trying to make me pity you, buddy, I don't.
As Margulis did when I sent her to the Jade Light.
Oh, Margulis is the name that he referred to the Lotus as
Some cloud
when he
in the
came and
sky.
took her.
Just some shape they imagined.
Yeah, it looks like a huge
Only
sword.
the sentient is real.
Wait, what? You just say only the sentient is real?
Natar. So, tell me, devil, do you understand what must be done?
So he does know I'm here.
The paracesis. The sentient slayer. Hurry.
Ooh.
Take this. The idea of it. It is the only way your war can end.
I'm missing something. We're missing like something. I don't know how though. I don't. Hi. I mean, I did call him a maggot earlier. The visions. The visions. Yeah, we had an option where like one of the options was to call him a maggot, and I was like, oh yeah, we're going with that. Blueprints. Oh. That was it for the prologue? Okay, I guess. I guess. Why are you just standing there ominously? Okay, let's go see if we can make this sword. I don't know if we can, because I don't have a lot of resources. Oh. Galatine. Heavy artillery melee weapons. Orcaducus. Okay, so I'm guessing part of the thing we're gonna do. 15? Mastery 10? Okay, we're not even close to making that. I guess. Just ore farming in the corner. Where's Tech? I want Tech to come carry me so I can also level up the music Warframe. Era. Are we having visions again? Is it back to the visions? Just aura farming in the corner. Correct. Did they change that? Is that a lot? Damn, she looks cool. All right. Show me your sights. Helmet. Oh. Flashbacks? It's Railjack. Oh, it's multiple Railjacks. I still don't fully understand why there looks like there's like a huge tube on the top of it. Is the giant tube a cannon or is something supposed to go there? Another Excalibur. SMG. The fuck is that thing? Oh, it's got gross little fingers. It's gonna touch me! Oh, Mag. Right? That's Mag Prime.
Making the mother of all omelets here, Jack. Can't spread over every egg.
Ooh. What the fuck? Lotuses? A Dax? Multiple Dax? I'm forgetting that Prime. I have that Prime, and I can't remember her name. I think this is also a Dax. Maybe it's just what the women look like. Leg. That's not good. What the fuck are you?
Let her go.
Okay. Oh, hey, there's Meme. Oh my god, Mom showed up with the daycare. Damn, I'm really the only one who got the drip.
If I had a heart, it would be broken. If my eyes could weep, I'd be blind.
Why are you speaking in poetics?
You're a god. You're a queen. But somehow the bees have you as a hostage.
Why are her eyes like that?
Recognize me anymore.
I recognize the enemy.
No,
Why are her eyes all black?
sister. It's me. Era.
Okay. Brother to the Lotus? The fact that the helmet is still bent is a very cool touch.
Unraveled your mind. They're using you to kill us. The Queen of the Aphids, with her eye in the void. But I don't blame you. I blame them. You believe these are your children.
Did she just look at someone over her shoulder?
And the only family you've got left. So choose our family, our people, or these parasites. Choose, Natal.
I still don't understand how we're parasites yet.
I am not Nata.
Nata, the Lotus,
I
and what was the other
am
name?
the Lotus.
Zap. Zap. Margulis, that's it, thank you. Present, where are we? That's a bunch of sis. Hi, there's Lotus. I still don't understand why she's only a face. Oh, it's Era. Yeah, this is... Oh. Alice. I'm a little nervous. Oh.
Reformation is accelerating. Our conduits are nearly ready. Our rebirth is at hand.
And the Golden Spear? How many battalions?
I have a question. Are they always going to know we're here, or are we actually just this sneaky?
The old war. Tell her, Maker.
Yes, there is no spear, loam. Nata. Error speaks.
I'm confused from what we saw before this in the Umbra quest.
True.
Because he was normal, and he was the one that was in control of her. And then we stabbed him.
The bios are divided. Infighting over what
I mean, yeah, but we're usually, the Warframes themselves are usually the magic space ninjas. This is kind of the point where we really get to see what the operators can do.
Yes.
But if I found out every time we're doing these stealth missions...
Made by you. To kill us.
Yes.
Again, though, what the fuck are they?
Something our people have never had before in the Tar. You're stained by their wickedness. Use it. Use their sin against them.
With Big Bro, basically. So they were working together. Which is why he was saying he was a traitor to his own people in the flashback.
Let them.
They know we are building.
It won't matter.
No, it won't.
So what are you waiting for? Sing for us, sister. Call them home.
I don't understand why at this point, though, she's only a face. Somebody explain to me the only the face thing. Invisible face and stuff. Oh yeah, I didn't know that. We turn invisible when we crouch as the operator.
You have new quests in your codex.
Huh? Should do blueprint. What is that?
Something's out there, dreamers.
Hold on, what is that? This isn't alphabetical. Arm cannon, ripped from a sentient, rapid fire thermal. Why did I get this? How do I get these other pieces? I don't have like the blueprints or anything for them. The heavy arm cannon is fun to use. Hunting tack the faces of masks to lull us. Huh. Seems to be the case, I guess. No, we got to do the prelude. We got to do all of the prelude. Jesus, what the fuck is that thing? And why does it look like it's straight out of fucking... Oh, there's something right there. Hi, Ballas. Are paid. They're involved hunting sentients where they live. The drop rate is painful. Gross.
So quiet. So dark.
It only needs a voice. A spark.
But Mother...
Mother's gone. This is all that remains.
What are the cis things? Are they just like, I don't know what to call them, brain dead, or just, do they have any thought to themselves, or are they just like controlled by brain waves?
What she started.
Finish the war.
Bring peace. Bring purity.
What is...
On Lua, the Lotus, I attacked you.
You remember?
You
How much gaslighting
died.
are we gonna do in this one, like, mission sequence?
You don't remember everything then. Yes, your aphids wounded me, and our forces were depleting fast. I knew I had failed. Failed you, my sister. Failed our family. I had no choice but to retreat.
No. You were destroyed. The Tenno made sure of that.
Okay, it's not just the faceplate. There's something on the back of her head, too. Is her head just, like, opened up?
The Makers did to you. It will take time to heal.
He is one of them, isn't he? A maker.
He just throw her? I just missed what happened. And what is that piece of metal? I have so many questions! Machine creatures of some sort sent out to, like, terraform a distant planet so the Orcan could bail from soul in the infestation that they made? The fucking Christmas jingles. Is that it? Was it just a cutscene? I guess so. It just didn't do the, you completed the mission. Hey, buddy. I don't like you being this close. Oh. Several hours to complete. You'll be able to pause the game and your progress will be saved between missions. Prepare wisely. Loadout access will be limited. Ooh. Tech Marine's not here, right? And Carrie's not here either.
What is
I was gonna say, did we wanted to go like level up another Warframe really quick or something, but
it also
or are we just gonna end up playing Titania the entire time? Unless I'm forced to play other frames. Cause like I mean, do we also should we just be like pumping our best shit right now? Is that what I should be doing? Really quick. Do I want to leave blast on this one or want to change it? 21! Damn. Okay, hold on. Hold your horses. Ammo drum. You know what? Yeah. Lose Hellfire. Malignant Force for viral. And then... Ammo drum. We're gonna lose you because I don't know what a sleeping dragon key is. And then I can put something else in there. Do we want to increase flat damage? All I have is impact. Oh, there's the damage increase. You know what? Yeah. Okay, I can only upgrade it to that far. That's fine. Seemed like a time to like... I okay am? Wait, what? From drying my pups, it's raining outside and it's supposed to be December? Ooh. Thing is, I could always use Oricon cells. I think I'll just leave the Nakana. I kind of like the Nakana. I don't think I'm gonna swap to anything else. Oh. I forgot I had Sacrificial Steel on this one for some reason. 60% melee damage, 120. Enhanced mods in the set. Oh, I don't have enough to swap them out. That's fine, right? Viral damage. 60%, 60%. That's fine. For farming organ cells? Content on Demos apparently has to do with one of the mission types. Oh. Stat decrease to let you open the vaults in the Deimos tile set. Oh. I got you. Also, I don't think I have any upgrades for this. Yeah, I just have that. Excellent. Me never using any of these. Is the best Oracle cell node? Oh. Huh. Thing is, though, is I'm also so short on money that it almost doesn't matter right now. There's something else I would rather use. Nah. Nah. Hi, Grins. What are you staring at? But yeah, I think we're just going to run to Tanya because I want to keep doing the missions. I want to catch up to current story. So I don't think we're going to swap to someone else. It's not much of a dagger. It's like the hacking tool. It's the hacking tool, basically. Yeah, I'm not sure I want to play Uriel until I get to the part in the mission. Saren's not the worst, but again, I'm just enjoying Titania. Plus, she's super fast, so we can get through missions that are like really large. All right, let's do this. Several hours, you say? When'd you start the quest, by the way? Well, I hope I get to stay Titania.
We are seasons.
Sure you are. Y'all are both rat bastards is what you are. Also, apparently us stabbing him did a fucking number.
Growing in the light. Fading in the dark.
Okay, but is that like is the black part of the big thing, is that her flesh or is she like in something? Because it also looks like the human body is inside a suit. Good luck. What does that mean? What does that mean?
It was the same. Yet never changed.
Am I the heretic? Am I the bad guy? I'm fine with that. Ooh, that didn't sound good. Budding? What in the unholy fuck is that? Hi. Immortal by body hopping?
Don't be afraid.
Wait. Didn't somebody say that earlier in the main missions? What in the fuck is that? The Grenier trying to fight. Oh, get fucked. Further proof that the Grenier are just entirely useless. No, wait. Is this the one I've seen where you play as a Grenier? Oh, fuck.
Brothers, dead. Only call 175.
Oh no. Okay.
Brother! The worms have swarmed the
Ricotta.
sector, but we will prevail. Regroup on my beacon.
What the fuck is that?
For the queens.
Poor guy. The Climber just Warhammer fans? I suppose that makes sense. Whew, that was a little close. Jesus, dude, you flew into that thing.
Target crash. Call help pilot. Call finish mission.
Hold on, can I bullet jump? I can't bullet jump. I can't bullet jump.
Run, maggots.
I'm running! Ammo. Sick. A grenade. Oh, I did not. The ballistic inflatable. I did not use it. Oh. I'm sick. Finally, the grenadier has someone useful. He's smushed, isn't he? His head's gone.
Is dead. What is mission now?
What the fuck is that thing? And why is it holding itself open?
Bloated conjures swats us down like flies.
Contrix?
Grounded. Call stop.
Do you ever get to see what the counselor looks like? Because from like the hologram, he always looks so ridiculous.
Even if you could get close to that thing, they'd eat you alive.
Have a grenade? Okay.
Alive? Ugh. What if food is bomb?
Using that noodle there, Call.
Brother, call. Yes. Find something with a high enough yield. Hurry.
Ooh. Okay. Oh, it does recharge. Okay.
For the queens.
Okay. Listen, I'm trying my best, okay? Uh-oh. Bert. Oh, there's another rampart up there? I don't like that. Some of the textures are kind of broken. I got. Oh. With these long missions alone? What do you mean? It's fine. It's fine. This is where the fun starts. Oh shit, the commercial break already went through. That was my bad. Why is it with 90% of whatever these sentient things are, every time I look at them, like, what the fuck is that? What did it just slurp?
Searches must not see Call.
Oh! Whoop. Oh, come on! I would like to hide down here, please. Oh, come on, dude. Ooh! Shut up, you didn't see shit.
Call sneak good.
Oh. Food? Oh no. The fuck is that? A grenade? Oh, call.
Queens.
Oh man. Oh. Uh-oh. Oh my god, the fucking tank. Why is the bottom spinning? Ooh. I don't think I've seen that tank before. Maybe I have, maybe I've just forgotten, but it looks so fucking goofy. Why does it look like a mushroom? Uh-oh. Wait, those aren't even swords. Why do they make sword sounds? Those look like bats. Let's go! Wait, where'd the Gakata go? Ooh, wait, where did that come from? Wait, that's a...
Queens.
That's one of the, like, past Grenier.
So close. Detonate Yuna, and your brothers shall live to fight another day. Queens. That's it. Detonate at the base of that bloated contracts for glory.
Okay, bye. To space? Not good enough? Oh, there we go. Very Mad Max with this guy. I don't know about Mad Max.
I salute you.
Oh, now we're limping again.
7-5. For the Queen.
The thing is, though, is it doesn't even... Oh my god, I just realized his armor's bent like he took a tank shot.
For my brothers.
Aww! What kind of rage I feel when I'm denied pizza? No!
Don't be afraid.
Wait, where did that orb come from? What was that orb in his chest? Oh! My game crashed. Okay, we gotta reopen. My game crashed in that loading screen. Okay, hold on. I need to turn the game off because I'm gonna have to sign in again. I'm very afraid you killed my game. Please don't make me play through that again. Okay, no, it looks like it's throwing me right into something else. Who's this loser? Are we gonna be playing as one of the fucking weird economics dudes? Oh god, we're an economics major. Oh god, we're an economics major. Besto. And all we have is like a revolver?
Fast to your stations.
Fuck you, Alon.
Bruiser. Our glorious victory is close at hand. Oh, and any remaining techs aboard narrow bend me at once.
Confirming tech aboard. Viso-R at your service.
Dash R?
Director.
Yes, tech prophet. My command overrides aren't working. I need to break fire control from the fleet. Can you fix that, Vico?
It's Viso, most lucrative and sagacious visionary.
I hate this.
Yes, I can try. There's a trace conduit nearby. I can bypass
Great.
it.
Yes, do your thing. There's a nice bonus in it, if you can.
Fire control.
A breacher Moa could clear that debris. Wonder if the robotics dispensers are still functional.
Ready to serve.
Oh. Wait, where did it go? Oh, there it is.
Service is joy.
Okay.
Why are you shooting at me?
Oh, it did have a weird
Sir,
shape sticking out of
Viso
it.
here. Our robotics have gone rogue. The sentients must have latched the grid.
Someone has. Yes. I'll pull some meat crews to cover you. Just get me that override.
Viso. Right. Got a data pad, secure robot
I swear I know this
access,
voice.
And a place. Right.
Okay, that's apparently all I can get out of that. Even if there is apparently a bunch of these guys up here. Hope you little shitters don't see anything. Yeah. Oh. You can fit into places you cannot. Where'd my breacher go? Come on, buddy. Yeah. Oh.
Check.
There we go.
Oh, I love puzzles.
Oh, I love puzzles. Roger Dodger. Oh, okay, I'm gonna fight them. Really faster! God damn it. Wait. It just spawned me on the other side of where they were. Okay, do I gotta go all the way back and get another breacher moa?
Systems are green.
Alright, let's go, nerd.
Can do. Can't keep me out.
Okay.
Functioning shield drone dispenser? Oh, thank Prophet.
Did you say Prophet or Crawford?
If I'm fast. Their shields are too strong to shoot through. Maybe if I boosted mine somehow.
Nah, it's fine. It's fine. Just kill it anyway. I can roll slightly. Woo. I'm just kind of slowly building a legion here. Ooh.
How many hostiles ahead? I can't do this! Unless...
Striker
I get a
Moa.
Striker Moa.
Okay. That's fine. That worked out.
Does this resolve your issue?
Okay. They worship money? I did know that.
Apologies.
We're just gonna keep schmoving. We're gonna keep schmoving. Ooh. Uh-oh. Isn't there an Osprey in here? Did it go down? Did I lose my breacher moa?
Hello again, turrets. I've brought a friend this time.
Is there anything else I can help you with today?
Hehehe. Okay.
Unit active.
Is there's gotta be one over here somewhere.
On it. Own time.
Kerbeam. Running the summoner build base? Oh my god.
If I don't stand down fire control soon, we'll all be sucking vacuum. Tico, what's taking so long?
What do you mean
Sir?
stand down fire control?
You want to disengage fire control from the fleet. I don't understand.
Look outside. We're all about to be under new management. Now do your part, or I'll find a more forward-thinking replacement.
Forward thinking.
Ready.
Oh, it spawns in there.
Yep, yep. Please instruct.
Are you gonna have to open the door? No. Oh, okay, it does explode. Damn it. I was like, can I get multiple shield ospreys? No. What would I do with you? So it obviously dies. Can I point the shield osprey in there? Okay, but it doesn't interact, so only the breacher one can interact.
Here we go, breaching the grid.
Ah, there we go. Send them both in. All right, let's go, nerds. I'm clever. I'm clever. Hi. Oh. Oh, what the hell? Okay. Did they also come in from over there? I think that's what happened. Oh, wait, I lost all of them. Oh, man, the nearest striker one's way over there. Oh! Blew up my fucking osprey, dude. Here, go down there. Boom, boom. Alright, let's do another one. Come on. And let's get our another striker. Okay. Hi, Gult. How are you doing? Hope you're doing well. I'm doing all right. I'm hanging in there. What? Oh, that was my own osprey. Oh my god, why are these so far apart from each other? Okay, I think we gotta go to. Oh, oop, don't do that. I'm literally on fire. Maybe I was supposed to blow it up? Do I blow up the debris? Or run through the debris? No, okay.
This unit is proud.
You're not going down there like I just told you to. God damn it.
I have purpose.
I have not been keeping up with Warframe. Okay, that does nothing. Can I go up here? A little bit of parkour. As a treat? As a treat? I don't... Is it that?
Oh, hello. I love puzzles.
Okay, it is that.
You can't keep me out.
Feedback is important to us.
Oh my god. Rap tap tap. Hey kiddo, yeah. Oh, there's another turret.
Does this resolve your issue?
Thank you, Striker Moa. I'm glad the Striker Moa does a shit ton of damage. Phrases triggered so many Warframe people yesterday? Yesterday? Oh, when I was saying it, yeah, whenever we were doing the missions yesterday when they were said. Oh, fuck. Okay. I'm sure this will be fine. I'm sure we can just go around it.
You see, this is why we need that command override back. The pod just can't face reality. So, what's your plan, Tiso?
Plan? You mean I have 2. Okay. I guess hit him in the knees, trigger his attack routine? That should leave his shields vulnerable, in theory.
Clever. Get to it.
Wait, we have to. Oh, we're gonna have to beat the jackal, aren't we?
Yes, sir.
We're gonna have to fight the jackal. We're gonna have to fight the jackal. Nope, bad touch. Yes, go, Striker Moa, go! Oh, Jesus.
I am sorry to hear you are having trouble.
Are you gonna shoot?
Drain those shield and that will force
Oh, hi.
the self-repair routine. Gotta blast those shields while I can. All his power is going to his attack. Shields, vulnerable. Beams, incredibly dangerous.
Enjoy this compliment.
This part is weak. Is it his head?
Ready to serve. For profit.
Get in there.
All his power is going to his attack. Shields, vulnerable. Beams, incredibly dangerous. Drain those shield and that will force his self-repair routine.
What can I do for
Underway.
you? Data for success. No.
Glorious destruction.
Okay. Okay, I see the I see the ideas. Ooh, uh-oh. Uh-oh. And touch. You better go take your happy ass back over there. Hi, buddy! GTFO. GTFO. Grenades! Come on, recharge. Okay, there it goes.
Does this resolve your issue?
No. Come on, Breacher, I need you over here. Get in there! Come here!
Check. On it.
You need to shield that breacher, Moa.
Oh, duh. We're gonna do this again. We'll go over here. This is gonna hurt. I'm gonna die. Where is he? All the way up there? Hello?
Oh no, he got blown up too soon.
Stuck in the fucking sand!
Systems are green. This unit is proud.
Get closer!
Happy day service is joy.
Thank you! Oh my god! What are we ding donking? What did I miss? For the beat guy sounds similar to Laos.
Our new
Laos.
management is about to pay a personal visit. Be quick. I've got to stand down fire when they dock with us. Well done, Fico.
Huh? I guess? You know what I didn't bring? Firing sink? What are you about to do? Alad, what the fuck are you about to do? Oh, what the fuck is that? Boarding things?
Attention crew, stand down. All stations. You'll be pleased to know that I, Alan V, have negotiated a peaceful and profitable transfer of power to our new
Fleet control. Firing sync re-engaged. Authorization? Corpus Tech First Class VSO-R. Take your shot. For profit.
Sick. 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 Even if it is for space super capitalism. Oh. What? Oh shit.
The enemy's eye turns upon our allies.
High tension.
Quickly, press onward.
Whee! So, you know what I should... Oh, hey, I'm getting bumped by him. Can't... Did I blow up? Oh, no, I didn't. Okay, it just takes a second to reload. So it doesn't work unless I get up to a certain range. Oh, there's others. Okay. Woo! Not close enough. Woo! Yeah, mild disappointment that I should have done more practice with the railjack before getting thrown into a main mission. I was purposely avoiding the side missions that called for it. Woo! Oh my god. Fuck you, don't run away from me. Hi. Can you remind me what the purple means? Because I forget what happens when the shields turn purple. Does that mean they're weak? Or am I misremembering? I mean, in our defense, we also don't know Jack Diddley. Oh, our shields are down. No, they're not. Oh my god, where are you? Wait, what is that? Oh, we have an objective.
Through the perimeter. You're sure about this? It should be me.
No, Tenno.
What is this?
Your Warframe will be useless until I clear the Orphix fields. Then, we will meet inside.
Teshin, what if the Lotus won't...
What is this?
If I must, I can make the harder choice.
Okay. Overloader. Sick. Oh, hi. Thanks for getting in front of my guns. I wonder how a lot of these currently feeling. Ooh. There's a bunch of them around me. Oh, that's not one of the things. Hold on. I want that. Gimme. Oh, I missed it. Oh, it dropped another one. I want you to ting. I like the thing. Wait, did I not get it? Oh, hi. Another one. Why are they dropping so many? And my shields aren't regenerating. Uh-oh. Triple uh-oh. It's not giving it to me. I'm just bumping it. God damn it. Okay, let's just go towards the objective instead of getting distracted. I have like no boost or anything right now. Big hits, damn you. Okay. Never mind, it's an object. It was acting like it was an item, but it was just kind of bumping it, I guess.
How tediously human. A slapdash alliance making a feeble last stand. If you all crave death and a final flash of glory, I am more than happy to oblige.
Okay. I'll still kill ya.
Boarding party is packing explosives. Neutralize them.
Wait, boarding party? Do I need to... Where are you, Joker Fox? Hi, boys. Oh, hi, Tension. Another one of you fucks.
Onboard threats eliminated.
They put holes in my ship!
Charge the slingshot.
Slingshot?
We'll need to get closer to your mother's ship.
Huh? Did you just...
Squadron incoming. The enemy is wise to our diversions. If hull integrity continues to drop, this will be a one-way trip.
That's fine. Recharge the gun, damn you! God, these things are terrifying. Sacabambaspis? What about Sacabambaspis? Oh, that's right. Missiles are fucking the mouse and wheel click. I was like, how did I do missiles earlier?
Mothership in range. Problem, slingshot damaged. Crew, hold position while I route a bypass.
Is Slingshot the...
Do you think there's a shred of Lotus left in Natal?
Yes.
All this time, it's been dying. The tomb scorched from its rotting hole.
Oh my god! Wait, that wasn't me, was it? I don't think that was me, whatever all those balls were.
Slingshot patched. Ready for launch.
Teshin, I'll be awaiting your signal, so I can bring her home.
I'll clear the Orphix and we'll do it together.
Okay. Aim railjack? Aiming railjack! Oh. Oh. Actually, there was shaky. He's probably feeling pretty warm. He's probably raging more than likely because he's a piece of shit. It's the weird thingy thing. What's the fluids there, buddy? You wanna... Is it also funny to me that they all look like really weird geese? You might all see that. Why do all the sentients have bird faces? Look at that badass. No. Yes. Oh, he can't. He can't. Oh my god.
Orphic's fields will be scattered.
The Orphic's fields will be scattered deep in the ship. Vods can help you triangulate them.
Quiet!
I'm only trying to...
I don't need your help.
Oh. Oh, there's elements. Okay, so... I see. Why do they have elements, though? That's a odd mechanic. Oh! I was gonna say, those look like bad things. That was right. I was right, they were bad things. Oh, good lord. Oh! Whee!
Grenier! Oh my! Vods wonders what we are getting into.
What you doing, boys? Okay, that. Oh. You come back? Rip and come back. Whoop. Comfy room temperature turns the thermostat, gets the blanket. Ooh.
Power field requires a power source.
Okay. Oh, that worked. Well then. Hmm. Y'all don't have an element, so it almost doesn't matter. Oh, this must be the Orphix's defenders, then I'm guessing. Shields.
Ordis.
Yes? Would you like me to defend that for you? 308, Teshin.
Devil sends their relic to do the deed.
Jesus.
But then, we're both relics, aren't we, old man?
Let me hit you! Okay, was there something else? No. Okay. I am enjoying Warframe. I'm having fun.
The Tenno freed you from your...
I feel bad that I neglected this game so much because it has such a neat story.
Absolve them of their sins.
Alright. Oh, there he is. Okay. There's another turret. Not a very good turret, not gonna lie. You having fun? Yeah. It's more of those mines. I wanted to trigger them and then dodge away, but it literally wouldn't let me. Oh, hi. How dare you stun him? Illegal. Okay. Nailed it. Fuck your bombs. Nope. Oh, good lord. Oh my god, there's multiple of you! Oh, you changed. Oh my god. Why are you getting staggered? Oh my god, Coco, why? Hey. Oh, good lord. Thank you, Jesus. Oh, whip. Ooh, nailed it. Never mind. I'm good. I'm good at this game. Gonna get a shaggy dog. Gonna go get... Oh, I would love some Coco. Okay, hold on. Hold on. I'll be right back, chat. Give me just a second. All right. There's some dude at the door. I ain't answering the door to some dude in a suit. I ain't answering no door to some dude in a suit. All right. So now she's in here where she can't see or hear most of the things. Wait. Is that us talking to ourselves?
Are you
Losing it.
feeling unwell?
Oh, another one? Okay. Okay. I know, it could be anything. I'm just not putting up with it. Woo, hey, buddy. Yeah, it's just, if I see somebody at the door in a suit or something, it's never anything good. It's somebody marketing like roofing services or solar panel, or worse, a Jehovah's Witness.
Ordis is still happy to help.
Thank you, Ordis. Excellent. Hi. Oh, I see. You have an elemental type too. Here's the change. I knew it. hell? How did I lose my shield to that? He can explode. Do I need to finish him? There we go. There just wasn't an indicator for it. Corpos are after you again? Yeah. Yeah.
Too easy.
Too easy. You're jinxing it there, champ. You're jinxing it.
Will be able to safely signal the operator to join.
I will decide when it is safe.
What are they doing with the Grineer, and why does it just seem like they're just in random places?
She and her void brood toppled a golden age of order
Oh my god.
and honor.
Oh my god, what the fuck is happening?
Believe this chaos is freedom.
Why do they stagger me, but I can't stagger them? Oh, because it didn't actually change the fucking stance. Oh my god. Stop it! Where'd the other one go? Really? Okay. Sounds like the Corpus are after you. Fuck that. Oh. What are we attacking? That didn't look good. Hey, where's the other one? I saw two. I know I saw two. There you are. Okay. I feel like I can hit that, but... No, I can't. Okay. Uh-oh. That's fine. Maybe we could just do it from here. Okay. Oh, shit. I see where this is going. Can I hit it? Can't hit it. Oh god, where did it go? Where'd it go? There it is. A third one, because of course there is. Shut up, tower. Oh my god, okay. Eat pants. Woo! Okay. Stole some of my food and they didn't even eat it? Madge? Oh, I'd be Madge too. Oh my god. That was a weird delay in stance changing, but okay. Oh, seriously. Oh my god, y'all all followed me? Oh, and they change whenever I blow one of them up. Oh my god. Okay, fine. Hi, Ding. All right. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Let me also do... Here we go. 5 minutes till ad break. Car. Oh my god, there's another one! Oh, Jesus. I did not realize y'all can lunge. What am I... Oh. Did he get behind her? Oh, hi. Are you serious? God damn it, stop with the ground pound, dude. You can keep your fucking spinny spin tornado. Okay. You booting up Warframe? I'm kind of stuck in the middle of like one of the longest quests in the game that's just entirely solo. So I can't exactly do something with anybody right now. We're on the new War stuff, which it said it was going to be like all solo for a while. I have to do that one more goddamn time.
The operator should be
Okay, thank God.
No. Too easy. Let me nudge the snares first.
Okay.
That's it. Come to me, old man. I am eager to show you how this war ends. Not with brutality, but with hope. Not with lies, but truth. A truth for all who are strong enough.
What is this?
Believe. Even you.
Oh, do I just walk forward? Oh, I do. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I did some of the quests after stream.
See this. Watch the veil.
Is this Lotus? Are we from the POV of Lotus?
Call out, Dax.
Cool water flows, the moon behind a cloud.
You'll get in soon. They all will. And this war will be over before it even begins. Not
Spam.
with
Spam.
bombs and blood.
Oh, wait. I can't actually.
Truth. They
Come on.
programmed you and your kind. Now it is our turn to program them.
Summon your devil. It's time.
Valeria!
See the veil work,
No!
turning his memories inside out.
Wait, it's from the Tunos POV? I don't think it is. I'm pretty sure this is still the Lotuses.
Putting pain where it serves us.
How is this our POV? Or are we the Tenno looking through the Lotus?
Life cut short by the very Tenno he had sworn to protect.
Call out, old man. Give her justice. Give her peace.
I can
What's the point of giving me damage numbers against this guy?
Hello?
Huh? Wait, what? Faceplate? Not the calipers.
One for the reject pile, then.
What is up with you and pinching the mushroom hats? Hey, what's up, Chucklefuck? No, not the ad break! Oh, shit. Well done. Yeah, I'm kind of glad we had the Uriel fit that somebody gave us instead of having to have like the default suit for all of these cutscenes. Wait, but the Lotus looking kind of helmet thing is still there. Gross.
Goodbye, my love.
I'ma kill him. I'ma kill him. God, the leg, like, being all janky. Okay. Yeah. Oh, I've seen this cutscene. I don't remember her looking this bad, though. I could have swore she looked different in this cutscene than the ones that I've seen.
Let me go, child. Let me go.
You had the sword! Why do you still have the sword? But Umbra is my favorite. It felt right. I could not care less about playing as Umbra. I literally tried to swap out of Umbra for the mission that you're forced to play him as.
But you can send it back to hell.
If you say so. Fine, it's just one big stab wound. Can't flicker our way back into the frame, apparently. I'm upset. Oh. What the fuck? Updated version available. God damn it, dude. God damn it. Why? Game over, new account, let's go. All right, gotta restart the game again. Jesus Christ. The war is over. Oh, that's goofy ass timing. Right as you finished? Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I miss the pop-ups. Waiting for checking content, checking content, checking content. Play game. The Battens? We got the Battens! No, my account's been deleted. Oh, you are kind of right. Do we dare? No, it's only 3. No, we got plenty of time. We can keep going. It crashed again. What the fuck? I signed in and it crashed. Huh. That's not good. Are we good? We're good. Oh god, he's hideous. It crashed again! But this time I actually got the fucking... Would you like to report the crash? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. We'll just blame Carrie. Is Carrie breaking the game and, like, verify? I could try verifying, but I don't think it would do much. I'm gonna find out that the, whatchamacalled? The hotfix has created some new crash variable. Attempt 2 for cutscene. Attempt 2 for cutscene. I can't understand what they're saying. Narmer? That hat is so stupid, my guy.
All as one.
I don't know. We stabbed him at one point, and the very next time we saw him, he looked like that.
My kind, an orphan of Tenno massacres. But their violence did not end with me, did it? It carried on to all of you. Grineer languished in their torture plexes. Ostron clades starved for Tenno tithe. Corpus pupils weeping Tenno praise under blade. Solaris souls blackened the skies of Tenno foundries.
What? Foundries? What? Tenno foundries?
Is our time. An era of peace and security. The devils have been cast out. And by the void.
They just kind of look like they got cooked, yeah.
Never return.
Oh, hey, but who's this idiot who now has the same long hair that I had the first time I designed this? Who's flying me? Whose gun is that? Narmer, unneutralized. Oh no. Okay, do I have... Oh, I have completely different powers. Strange.
Slider to south. Full detachment fails on.
Bombs are bad tonight. How many prisoners do you think?
Too deep to know for sure. But what if there's an Archon down there?
Don't do that.
Oh, should I have thrown it on him? I guess that was the expectation, but it didn't take. I passed security notes, optional. Oh! I slid off the cliff. And it took me all the way back here. Great. Playing as a human layer, we're technically ourselves here, so I still can't throw it far enough, apparently. That's horrifying. Well, honestly, apparently I deal enough damage against him, so... What the fuck? Oh, I hate that. Wait, what is this? Oh, there we go.
Step inside, step inside.
Okay. Pixie, welcome in. Hi, Goofy. Smoke just fine. Lasers to the face. Much more permanent. Yeah.
Never will I submit to Narmer.
Wait, what'd you just spit out? Oh, that is the tunnel. Okay. Grineer facility. Okay, those don't open. Why were they down here in the fucking flooding tunnel? One up there. Hmm. So I can technically headshot them. That's good to know. Okay.
Release me, Oots.
Wasn't there another security thing over here I thought I saw? Oh well. Okay, well, I'm a little glad that they're kind of dumb. Oh. Oh, okay, that was a little too close. Uh-oh. Okay, so there was one over here that I missed. Which I think was, like, down here? Yeah, right here. Okay. The diagonals are actually quite a bit easier. That was shockingly easier than the other one. Okay, I'm full health. This is really cool, though. Game day, they already removed the bug. They'll let you join people's new Warframe missions. Okay, that's actually kind of funny. That that was a thing. Propaganda drone. Okay, hold on. What are we up to? We have 5? We have half? I don't think this is a relevant area, but I'm nosy, so... Okay, I think this is just gonna be a dead end. Yeah, a dead end with nothing to loot. Because all the lockers are locked. Hogging all the brain cells? I tend to do that. Have you seen chat? Have you seen how chat behaves? New hacking minigames? That's true. It also means that, like, they're not really ever crazy boring. Yeah, I don't like the idea of that, buddy. I'm also very confused how you went from basically on a dude's leash. We'll go get this cage up here. Heavy gunner. Neutralize guards? Okay, so I'm gonna guess the guards are gonna be the heavy gunners. Wait, what's down here? There's a whole path to back here. Nothing? Just left from another stage? We're normal to a point? X? Here's something chittering. Oh, okay. There's the other gunner. Goodness, okay. Again, I keep checking every one of these, like, edges, and there's literally nothing in them. I know you played Warframe. I haven't played since, like, the Plains expansion came out. I played a very tiny bit then and did the story of it. But now I'm, like, catching up on, like, all of the story. I played yesterday. And I'll probably be playing at least until I feel like I'm either grown bored or I've caught up. But it's just, I've also never had anybody to play with. Oh, hi, guys. Good headshot. I'm glad y'all are oblivious, because I was oblivious to y'all for a split second. Oh, there's nobody in this one. Okay. Is this a portal? Is that what this is? Oh, this is a laser. That doesn't bode well. Tons of cages over there. Again, kind of glad these guys are generally oblivious. Glowy button. Okay, it doesn't look like anything I can actually shoot at. Still a coupler, though. Okay. Will you stream more? I probably will, as long as I'm having fun with it. I don't know if we'll be doing 2 days. 2 days a week, like we did this week. We'll probably do 1 day. Because I really do like playing this with y'all around, or even doing group stuff later on. Where did they go? Hmm. Okay. Well, I'm still kind of hoping for cages with people in them, but it also does not bode well that none of these cages have people in them. And whatever this horrifying cable is. Jesus, guys. What energy are you using? Drifter? Is that what I look like here? Am I supposed to be a drifter or something? It changed my hair back to like the one that I had when I first made my character, so I don't have my cool side shave and shit. Nobody down here guarding the door?
Let's hope you're not too late.
Oh, okay, I was gonna say, this feels like it's gonna be a cutscene. Wait, is that the kid from before? Oh, they all have those veils on them.
All as their apostasy.
Where'd you come from? Also, we're gonna talk about the very plankton. Okay. Okay, never mind. I'm cracked, is what I am. Where are you throwing that, buddy? Also, what the fuck is this slime? Please don't go in the pool. All hail plankton! All hail plankton!
Easy now. I'm not going to hurt you.
Why is my mouth not moving?
Get that thing off your face.
All is one. All is one. All is one. All is one.
Oh, that's not good. What in the sweet fuck did they do to Mag?
I told you, and more come.
Call the ship, smartass.
It'll be there just now.
What did they do to Mag? Snake? Oh, I'm still taking damage through the wall. Damn it. Oh, escape? Oh, shit. Okay, I can't run from it. That's fine. That's fine. Whoop, that's not fine. Hi, guys. Come on, I like wipe the floor with y'all. That's not fair. First smoke bomb. Okay. Oh, you're joking. Uh-oh. Jesus, no! Oh, god damn it, the grenade. Okay. We need to keep moving. Yeah. No time to breathe. No time to breathe. That's Mag Prime? What? Why does it have a snake for a head? Oh god, it is. She kind of bad though. Hey, listen, Mag is pretty bad. I'm not gonna lie.
How long's it been since the Tenno left without saying goodbye?
Hi, Nora.
Since Narmer and the masks. Since truth became a luxury few can lay their hands on. Whoever's picked up the mantle the Tenno dropped, drifting wild, popping masks and loosen bonds. Whoever you may be, we salute you, Drifter.
For those about to rock, we salute. Wait, is this is our interceptor? Oh my god, what happened to it? This isn't the right layout. What the fuck? Orbiter, yes, thank you. Draco Proto, thank you for the follow. Welcome in. Oh, my baby. At least my flesh corner's still clean. Crystal. Crystal in the box.
Hey, give me that.
Shiny. The shiny.
All right, all right.
Oh, it changed the color of my outfit. What?
What do you think, Ordis?
Oh, little bot.
What do I think? I think
Finish her.
this is torture. What's left of her is just wasting away. We've tried.
When did you get a body, Ordis? Who gave you a
I
body?
have no care and feeding of eidolons in my data arrays. We don't know.
Maybe I took the Raven voice. Oh, that was weird.
No, we don't. But you know someone that does.
We can drop kick Ordis now! Let's go!
I know someone that. Wait, operator, you can't be serious.
I told you, don't call me that.
Okay, so it does just keep the same thing. Oh, it changed it. Never mind.
If you want to get to the outer systems past Narmer, we'll need a Corpus shuttle.
Wait, I kind of want to have the drifter fit until it like no longer fits. What the fuck? Or do we keep the bad bitch? Shit. Oh man. You can do both? Bad bitch? Okay. All right, we're back to our sick fit. Hold on, wait. We didn't check if we got other stuff along with this outfit. Although now my silhouette is invisible. I wanted to see if what is this? Oh, those are the sigils. Oh, okay, these are the extra things. That doesn't actually show them. I guess it's only on Warframes. But then where's the one that is it accidentally equipped to the Warframe? Oh, I think it is. Have to redo it yourself after again? Yeah. Yeah. Nah. No, I'm fine with having my floaty thing behind me. That's fine. I think it's actually because it's equipped to the Titania frame. So it also appears in the operator. That's fine. Did it glitch and put you in operator? Well, I mean, also, look at my earpieces. Oh my god, it's doing it on the other ear too. My earpieces are just hovering off my head. I am playing the operator. You shouldn't be. Uh-oh. Should I try relogging? You're supposed to be the drifter, not the operator? Okay, hold on. Let's do, fuck it. Fuck it, Weeball. Close game, reopen. Oh no, I know my voice is Raven. I know the voice I picked is Raven. Reopening the game. Yeah, Carrie showed up and everything broke. Damn it, Carrie. How could you do this to me? It has the chest! What the fuck? Okay, no, just snap back. Huh. And I have the thing on my back. I'm not gonna lie, I do want to take the hood off. Never mind, because I think it's gonna break again if I go interact with it. We'll live like this. It's fine. Where'd you come from? Oh, and then it doesn't work back there. That's strange. Stolen plates. Okay. Falcons is V. Oh. I like Raven. And I have a stinky dog right here. Hold on. Stinky. Hey, Stinky. Yeah, I'm talking about you. Hi, baby. Oh, hello. Hi, baby. Yeah, she was barking at somebody who kept coming and knocking on the door. So I brought her in here so that she would stop barking randomly. What in the church song are we listening to? Why are you leaning like that, Coco? Okay. Lose Yourself by Eminem? No, shut up. Oh. Oh, no. Oh, no, this is worse. Wait, y'all aren't wearing the masks. I was gonna say, it's the same cadence as We All Live Together. They are? I didn't see the masks. Oh my god, was it the robot heads the whole time? Oh, what the fuck was that floating thing? Oh no, he has a mask.
Solaris collapsed under Narmer. You're on your own here. Keep your head
No,
down
they do have.
and get topside as quick as you can. Wait. Deacons. They'll sense if you're not veiled. Give them a wide berth, or you'll be sucking black ooze before long.
Oop, nope.
All is one.
Avoid the deacons or they'll seal you in.
It's fine, I got it. I'm so good at this. I'm so good at this. Are the vent kids here? I hope the vent kids are alright. Oh, shit. I was gonna say, this is literally just a cutscene. I can't do anything. Good night, Prey. Sleep well. This way? Everything and everyone was... Oh, yeah. I know that now. I just couldn't tell earlier. Hey, buddy. Hold on. What are you going to do? Okay. What the fuck, dude? Oh, I was supposed to go there. I was not paying attention. I was not paying attention. Although, I did kind of hate that you have to, like, wait through this scene. I was aiming for the vents. When I was just thinking about it, I was like, I wonder if the vent kids are alright. If there was ever a thing that was gonna be alright. Oh. 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 Hey. Hoppers. Okay. Oh, shit. Oh my god. Okay, but like, how do they eat? Oh, Christ. Do I need to get in that case? That crate?
Hello. Missing your brain buster then?
Ignore her. We can't risk it.
Can't risk what? Jank cipher comms? Already blew it. But listen, if you're here to muck with Nama,
Her name's Little
I'm
Duck?
keen to lift with ya.
Run the other direction. Ooh, lag. Okay.
Hey, need a ship. Corpus tax.
Then you'll be wanting to pay a visit to that bleeding brainbuster factory. I know a shortcut. Might grab yourself a K-drive if you've got the legs for it.
Okay. Whee!
Name's Little Duck. And you must be that stick in the spokes I've heard about. You weren't in with a Tenno back in the day, were ya?
Something.
No. Wait, whose voice was that? That wasn't my voice. Hi guys. Hi guys. Smack. Was that Ravens? It sounded like Matthew Mercer for a second.
Fresh shipment of brainbusters, and there's one with your name on it. See, security's lax on account of how the only way inside is wearing one of those sticky things.
Ow.
Oh, you don't know what effect it will have on you. There's got to be a better way.
Afraid not.
Just shoot me from behind. Hi, buddy. Now get your ass back here.
Pops my plugs to think that some people take the veil by choice. Warm lies are more comfort than cold hard truths, eh?
I mean, are we gonna find out that like Alad V is the one who just absolutely just straight up teamed up with them? Oh yeah, I have my cool hair. Okay.
Ready? Veil up and I'll mark the shuttle uplink once you're inside. Think happy thoughts, yeah?
Are we... Okay, we can't use our powers.
My child, so beautiful to behold.
Oh.
How do you feel?
Terrible. Absolutely fucking terrible. You mean Salad Man? Yes, Salad Man. Jesus, the size of that garage door.
We found you within the drain, Shaman. Failing. Void in your heart.
What?
But Ballas. He saw a lost child in need of a father.
Gaslighting 101.
Less and less. What good was I to him? If you weren't sick.
Huh? That's the thing. We don't know. Yeah, I don't think that's the case.
Your harrowing dreams of mother, father. I made them nightmares.
Huh? Thing is, though, I don't trust any of these things to be real. I think it's the veil trying to like.
Still give those deacons a wide berth. Did you know they can detonate those veils if they smell a rat? Take your face off that.
Are you serious? It didn't occur to you that you might want to mention that before we put one on?
It did, and I didn't. Needed you focused.
Okay. Shit. Whew. Nope. 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 Can I? Oh, like, okay, I think I can. God damn it! Great. Great. So we're trying to get up there. Only way up is behind this fucking bastard. Oh, of course he's just gonna turn around at the top of the stairs. Oh, and they're all triggered. Did he lose me? Oh, did it deactivate the far side? Oh, hi. Hello? Move, bitch! Move! That Chucklefuck's gonna be up there the whole time. Okay. I'm watching that one on the far side to see where he's going. Okay. Do you stay there or are you going to turn around when I jump down? What the fuck? Also, it is getting really hard to see right now. Digimon Time Stranger DLC? I have not played the DLC yet. I haven't finished the main game. Give him a few seconds to reset and they'll lock on if you see him again. Oh.
Child. My child. Forgive me. Wake from this horrid dream of hers.
Welcome to Gaslighting Central, my guy.
Outside is waiting for you. These horrors of Zariman.
Chat, I wish you could see Coco right now. She's just kind of poetically plopped in front of the door.
Love you.
Gaslighting 101. Ooh, that's not good.
I can't.
Pick it off.
Boy, focus! Jab that console, quick!
Okay.
Oh, guts! You've been rumbled. Right, leg it out the back before you're mumbling with the rest. I've sorted your shit. And a little nugget for myself while I was there.
Oh my god. Oh no, I do have to go down. Hi, buddy. Right up there or something. Hoofing it.
Ah, takes me back to the good old Tenno days. Expect those brain busters might be on back order for a while. Been a pleasure lifting with you, Drifter.
Okay. Drifter voice sounds different. It sounds different.
Lovers, holdouts.
You think it changed the voice? In like the mess up?
Head factory got hit. No doubt the handiwork of that drifter we've been hearing about. Feels good to have a little bit of truth in the world.
Okay, let's go see if we can change. Goodness, see if we can change that. Check the voice. No, there's still only 4. There's still only 4 voices.
It is marked, but I hope you change your mind.
What's marked? enemy of enemies? Huh. Please don't bug. It bugged. That's fine. Yeah, we're Raven. Drifter Raven. Specifically. But, God, why is there... Y'all see the problem, right? Is it bugged onto a Warframe model? We stretch. We stretch when we walk. Yeah, so it's like slapping the operator skin over the drifter body, but it's only really coming into visual effect when we move. Try starting a mission, it should fix it. It's no big deal because it's already 4 o'clock. I was just gonna check and see if that was the thing. And then we were gonna end because I am starving. I am really, really hungry. We're gonna swing back on over here. Where am I? Okay, full chat. There we go. There we go. But that is going to be it over here for this week, you guys. We are effectively done on this channel. However, we are going to have more stuff coming up. Let me see. Who is live right now? Salty's live. Tommy's live. Fairbonks is live. Stream anniversary. Ooh. But come tomorrow, we're going to be doing Mage 11 CST over on Hectics. Let me do a shout out for Hectic. We're going to be over there playing Mage. We've been having a grand old time. It's been super fun. So if you want to check it out, I will be posting it in the Discord. If you haven't joined the Discord, do feel free to do so. We may do a movie night tonight. I'm not entirely sure. What was the movie we were talking about this week about watching? Was it Grinch? Or was it something else? Was it the Grinch? I must fight the technocracy. Yeah, we're beating up a crypto bro. Soon, TM. It was the Grinch because of Ordain. Yes. Okay. The cringe, not the cringe. And then Sunday we're gonna have Vampire the Masquerade over my buddy GM the Game Monsters. I'm gonna have to do the other shout out, which I think is SO. Is that the right one? That should be the right one. It says tabletop RPGs. But that is pretty much going to be it this week. I'm going to get this short basically uploaded tomorrow morning, and we'll probably have more if y'all clip some other stuff from the streams this week. I will definitely be making more shorts over the weekend. But we are going to raid my buddy Fairbanks. Fairbanks is one of the few VTubers that I have actually hung out with IRL, and we're probably going to be hanging out again New Year's. I'm going to try really hard to scrounge up some money to be able to drive down and go hang out with them. But we will see what happens. Other than that, I think that's it. Let's go ahead and do our brulee. So if you have a sub, feel free to use the crime brulee one. That's all caps. Or if you don't have a sub, feel free to use the gold please, quine please. Quine please. But until next time, guys, thank you for being here. I got to go give Coco some attention and feed her because it is 4 o'clock, which is her food time. And I will catch you later. Good night.